Jamal Wallace is a typical high school student passionate about language and literature, basketball, and hanging out with friends. They often complain about school and discuss a mysterious figure they call the window man, who watches them from a nearby apartment. When a friend dares someone to investigate, Jamal decides to prove his bravery. The next day, Jamal's mother receives a call from his teacher about his poor grades, which don't reflect his writing talent. That night, he and his friends plan to sneak into the old man's apartment. Jamal climbs the fire escape and enters through an unlocked window, discovering a fascinating collection of books. Unbeknownst to him, the old man is awake, and when he stirs, Jamal quickly escapes, accidentally leaving his bag behind. The following day, his friends tease him for not bringing anything back and for leaving his bag in the apartment. They worried about the old man discovering Jamal's true identity. While practicing basketball, Jamal saw a resident arrive in a BMW, revealing his passion for cars. Initially hesitant, the resident was impressed when Jamal shared fascinating BMW facts. Later, the old man unexpectedly tossed Jamal's bag back to him, which contained his writings with helpful corrections. Grateful, Jamal returned the next day to apologize for intruding and asked for writing help, but was given a daunting 5,000-word essay assignment instead. Determined, he completed it that night, but the old man still refused him entry and asked him to leave, prompting Jamal to leave his work at the door. At school, Jamal and Mrs. Joyce were called to the principal's office due to his poor test scores, with a suggestion to transfer him to a private school. Mrs. Joyce was concerned about the tuition, but a man named David Bradley, a representative from the private school, intervened. The school offered Jamal a scholarship due to his basketball skills, and Bradley was excited, hoping Jamal would play, as many alumni became professional athletes. Before heading home, Jamal checked on the old man to see if he had taken the paper he left behind. Finding it missing, he waited outside while writing, and to his surprise, the old man opened the door and invited him in. While waiting for the old man to review his work, Jamal introduced himself as a 16-year-old living with his mother and siblings after his father left due to addiction. The old man praised Jamal's talent despite his young age and background. Later, Jamal visited the private school that offered him the scholarship, where he met Claire, a student who gave him a tour and invited him to a literature class. The teacher assigned a writing task about a book by William Forster, and after completing it, Jamal mentioned he would be trying out for the basketball team the next morning. The next morning, Jamal had a trial match to showcase his skills, hoping to befriend a player named John, who was unfriendly, leading to a competitive game. Claire remarked that John was just a wealthy kid seeking attention, making Jamal realize he needed to take school seriously. Claire showed Jamal an old book by William Forster, and he was shocked to learn that the author was the elderly man he knew. After saying goodbye to Claire, Jamal visited Forster's house for help with a school assignment and confirmed his identity as the famous author. Initially reluctant, Forster agreed to mentor Jamal on the condition that their interactions remained secret. The next day, Jamal's teacher announced a writing contest, prompting him to seek Forster's guidance again. Jamal felt that his teacher and classmates misunderstood Forster's character, despite discussing his book daily. Forster believed others' perceptions didn't matter, as he felt unable to clarify the truth. He advised Jamal that writing requires focus and should come from the heart to resonate with readers. Jamal was impressed by Forster's effortless writing. When Jamal struggled, Forster suggested he use his previous work to inspire new ideas and reminded him to keep their writing confidential. The next day, Jamal prepared for an intense competition with John, and they surprisingly completed 50 successful throws without a miss. After practice, Robert praised Jamal's writing improvement, which surprised Jamal since he had written it the night before. When Jamal shared this with Forster, he sensed Robert's praise was insincere. Forster explained that Robert had tried to publish a book after him but failed and became a teacher instead, which can influence students positively or negatively. Ultimately, Jamal was getting ready for his first basketball match. One evening, Jamal surprised everyone with his exceptional basketball performance, earning a lot of points. His friend Fly invited him to a party, but Jamal declined to attend a school gathering at Claire's house, whose father was on the school board. At the event, Jamal's success caught Claire's attention, and they began to bond despite their different backgrounds. His basketball skills and writing improved, earning praise from Forrester, who challenged him to a bet about the popularity of his books. After discovering Forrester's book was still in demand, Jamal lost the bet and treated Forrester to dinner. He mentioned a writing contest at school, and Forrester advised him to share his work and give unexpected gifts to impress Claire. Jamal took this advice and gifted Claire a signed copy of Forrester's book, which thrilled her. However, Robert later accused Jamal of plagiarism, doubting that a basketball player could write so well. Robert appeared to harbor some jealousy towards Jamal and struggled to accept his talent. What Robert didn't realize was that Jamal was receiving daily training from a renowned writer, who was shaping Jamal's thought process in a unique manner. This explained why Jamal's writing style bore some resemblance to Forrester's, but it certainly didn't imply that Jamal was copying or using Forrester's unpublished works. Before heading home, Jamal stumbled upon a photo album in the apartment, showcasing Forrester's childhood memories with his family. Even though Forrester was reluctant to share personal details about himself, Jamal found a way to learn more about him through the album. One day, Jamal invited Forrester to watch his basketball game. Forrester, who had long isolated himself, felt anxious in a crowd and panicked when he lost sight of Jamal. Fortunately, Jamal found him and took him away from the chaos. Before heading home, Jamal and his brother Terrell brought Forrester to a baseball stadium, where he realized it was his birthday. Forrester opened up about his close bond with his brother before the war changed everything, sharing cherished memories of his family, who had all passed away in the city. Meanwhile, Robert called Jamal into his office, surprised by his rapid improvement. He suspected Jamal was either exceptionally talented or plagiarizing, so he scheduled a meeting for 2 weeks later, asking Jamal to write in front of him. Frustrated, Jamal confided in Forrester, who encouraged him to prove himself. When they met again, Robert still doubted Jamal's originality despite witnessing his talent. Nevertheless, Jamal continued to submit his writing for a contest. Later, Robert quoted a famous poet in class. A distracted student was embarrassed when called to share his thoughts on a poem, prompting Jamal to support him. Robert mocked Jamal, suggesting his academics were better than his basketball skills. Jamal countered by pointing out Robert's misuse of words and easily recited a quote from the book when challenged. After losing the exchange, Robert ordered Jamal to leave, frustrating him. The next day, Robert accused Jamal of plagiarizing Forrester's work for a writing contest, presenting evidence of a similar piece by Forrester from 1960. Jamal, pressured to confess, refused as he had vowed never to discuss Forrester. He was told to write an apology letter or risk losing his scholarship and basketball eligibility. Before leaving, Robert claimed this was revenge for the embarrassment in class. Later, when Jamal spoke with Forrester, he realized he shouldn't have shared what he wrote. Jamal was frustrated when Forrester never informed him that the title was already out. He sought Forrester's help to explain to the school that he had permission to use the work, but Forrester declined, leading to a heated argument. Disheartened, Jamal felt anxious about leaving the apartment but understood Forrester's reasons. As Jamal's team prepared for the tournament's final match, Claire's father offered support if Jamal could secure the trophy, which he eagerly accepted. The match was intense, with Jamal and John as key players, but they were trailing by 1 point as time ran out. Jamal earned 2 free throws that could win the game, and everyone believed in him. However, he missed both shots, leaving him feeling like a failure despite his previous accolades. To lift his spirits, he wrote a letter to Forrester at the library. When he returned home, Terrell found the letter and decided to deliver it to Forrester the next morning, noting it was written right after the game. The next day, Jamal surprised Robert and his friends by attending the writing contest symposium, despite being eliminated. Just as Robert was wrapping up, William Forrester unexpectedly appeared and requested to speak. Forrester, a renowned author whose portrait hung on the wall, captivated the audience with an essay he read. Afterward, he revealed he was there for Jamal, which shocked Robert, who had no idea they were friends. Forrester confirmed that the essay was originally Jamal's, but Robert stood firm on excluding Jamal from the contest. Forrester clarified that the piece was indeed a letter written by Jamal. The principal then announced that Jamal would be absolved from the trial with the school board. With pride, Jamal left the room after this victory. Later, Forrester told Jamal he had nothing more to teach him, as Jamal's letter had moved him. He decided to return to Scotland without a formal goodbye. A year later, Jamal was still in school and had received multiple college scholarship offers. One day, a lawyer encountered him at the school. This lawyer was representing William Forrester. After a year without any updates, it was revealed that Forrester had passed away from cancer. The lawyer then handed over Forrester's inheritance to Jamal, which included a key to an apartment and all the books inside. Once Jamal received the inheritance, he invited his mother and brother to come live with him there. In the closing scene, a draft of a novel co-written by William Forrester and Jamal Wallace was presented as Forrester's final work.